So, you've come here to learn about eyes now, have you? Now, if that's the case, I'm sure you've run into the problem that although eyes might look like a simple shape, they're quite hard to get just right. Now, I've worked on characters for many years, and getting the eyes to look just right has always been a struggle for many years. Now, at first this might seem strange since, well, an eye is basically just a tiny little ball. How can making an eye be so difficult? But when we start to do things like character sculpts and we create a character and we're adding an eye to the character, we might start to realize that the eyes look empty, especially if we just use a simple ball. Now, the common habit is just to paint some eyes and call it a day. And I have done this so many times, especially when I created some speed sculpts for my characters. However, this does lead to our characters looking a bit soulless. Now, as they say, the eyes are the window into seeing someone's soul. Now, joking aside, the difference that eyes can make for your character is night and day. For example, over here, we have some acceptable eyes, but they still look a bit soulless. So let me swap them out for something a bit better. And there you go. Now, we haven't changed the sculpt at all, but by just changing the eyes, our sculpt already looks a lot more alive. So let's have a look at how we can get good eyes for our sculpts in this video. Now, when I was first thinking about making this video, I had a first thought to create an entire tutorial about how to create an eye from scratch. But then I realized that doing this from scratch every single time for every character is a lot of work. And why not actually do what I do when I make characters? I create a setup and I reuse this for future projects, just to save myself some time. So instead of a tutorial about a very basic eye setup, instead I've created an advanced asset that you can use for your characters. And hopefully this will help you push your characters to the next level. Now, if you still want to learn how to create eyes from scratch, well, we do cover this in our character course, where we basically go through the entire process of setting up a procedural shader for the eyes. So if you're interested in that, do check that out. Right, so let's have a look at how we can use this free eye asset. Now, to start off, first you need to head over to our resources page so you can download the eye kit. Now, once you have downloaded the files, now we need to add the assets to our asset library. And for this, we need to go to our preferences. Now, once we have our preferences window open, we need to go to the asset library section over here. And over here, we can go ahead and add and remove our asset libraries. Now, if you're in an older version of Blender, you might have to go instead to File Paths, and here you can also see your asset libraries. But for newer versions, it has its own section. So back in the newer version of Blender, you can see we have our section here where we can add and remove our asset libraries. And as you can see, I already have a bunch here, but we're going to add in a new asset library for our eyes. So let's press this plus button here. And then from here, we can add two different types of libraries, a remote library that's online or a local library that we've downloaded. Now, since we downloaded the eyes, we're going to add in a local library. Now from here, what we're going to have to do is find the location where we downloaded our asset library. Now, once we're in our folder, it might look empty, but don't worry, this is just because we have a filter enabled. If we disable it, you can see we have all the files that we downloaded. So now that we're inside the folder, we just need to add this to our library. Now, as soon as we do this, you can see it adds a new asset library with the name of our folder. We can also rename it if we want to, but I'm just going to leave it with this name. Now from here, we can also change the import method. Right now it's set to pack. This will basically just add the asset packed into your blend scene, but I recommend for the eyes just to set it to append, so it just simply appends the eyes into your scene. And that's pretty much it. We've now added our eyes to our asset library. Now to check this out, let's add in a new window. Let's set it to the asset browser. Now, even if you don't have any other asset libraries enabled, you should still see some assets that come stock with Blender. But what I want to look for is the CG Boost Kids category here. Now, if we go inside this, you can see we have a bunch of eyes. Now, I've organized these in different ways. So we got our eye kit here. Then we have the base sets. These are the basic eyes. And then we have some presets. So you can quickly add a preset eye to your scene. Now, to add these eyes, we can simply drag and drop these into our scene. You can see it also creates a grid to tell us the starting orientation of our asset. Now, to add these, all I need to do is just to let go of the mouse and it will append these eyes to our scene. So now that we know how to add these eyes, let's have a look at how these work. Right, so let's have a look at how we can use these eyes. And for this, we're going to have a look at this character that I sculpted here. Now, as you can see, we have two base options. We have the eye basic and we have the eye material. Now, they work very similar, so let's have a look first at the basic option. Let's just drag this then into our scene. Now, as soon as we add this here, you can see we have two sets of eyes. And these models here have a rig applied to them. So let's have a look quickly at this rig. Now to see this a bit better, let's go to solid view mode here. And as you can see, we have a bunch of empties here. Now these we can use to easily adjust the placement and orientation of our eyes. So the first one here is the parent, which can place the eyes. So we can adjust the placement just by moving this empty. And then we have this other empty over here, which is our look target. So the eyes will look towards this empty. So this will make it easy to set up where our character is looking at. Now we're not limited to just these empties. We can still fine tune everything by adjusting the individual targets as well as the individual eyes. Now we can also adjust the iris and the pupil with these circular empties in front of the eye. Now with this rig, it makes it a lot easier to set up our eyes for different style characters. For example, over here we have this miniature sculpt which has a oriented face. What we can do is just orient first the parent roughly into the same orientation as the face. So I'm placing it between the two eye sockets here, and I'm rotating it so it kind of faces the same way as the face of this character. So I just adjust the orientation here, the scale. We can also adjust the look target just so our character doesn't look oddly up. So let's maybe make her look to the right here. And what we can do is also adjust individually the eyes. So we can adjust the scale of the eyes, but primarily what we want to do is first set the parent to be in the place where we want the eyes to sit. So let's use the local space to move along the local axes of this empty. I think that's looking pretty good. Maybe scale it down just a bit more, maybe a bit up, like so, and then scale up the eyes just a bit. Something like this I think works pretty well for these eyes here. Now we can also tweak the size of the iris and the pupil, maybe the pupil a bit smaller, and there you go. So just like that, we've added eyes to this character. Now this character is a miniature character meant to be 3D printed, so we don't really care about actual materials. So as you can see, it's very simple to add these eyes using this very simple rig system. We can easily tweak where the character's looking, the shape of the iris, pupil, all of that stuff. Now this does look a bit basic, so this is why we also have our material kit. But before I show you that, a quick word from the guys in Polygonic who are sponsoring this video. Now, if you've been in the Blender scene for a while, this name shouldn't surprise you. They're a wonderful team based in Europe who are working very hard on creating really handy tools for visualization. And their latest project is Humanic. Now, this is a huge library of digital humans. But what makes these stand aside is that they're not just static scans like most libraries. Humanic instead is highly customizable, where you can even adjust the poses of all of these characters. And it's very easy to use. For example, in this case, these two characters are not facing each other. It doesn't look like they're talking to each other. So you can quickly adjust their poses so they face each other and it looks like they're having a conversation. It also includes a generator to quickly add crowds to your scene. Now this generator is very easy to use. We can simply draw in a curve into our scene and this will add in this crowd, and we can fine tune these settings in the M panel to get exactly the amount of people that we want for our scene. Now since it's using this drawable curve to generate these crowds, we can easily generate this flow of foot traffic that will make our scene feel lived in. Now the variety in assets here is quite extensive, with a huge variety of different outfits and characters. Now if that doesn't convince you, maybe these cute little pets will change your mind. So if you're looking to add characters to your scene, look no further than Humanic. They've recently released this product and they're currently running a promotional period, so do check it out. You can find the link in the description below. Right, so now that we're back, let's now have a look at adding some eyes to this character that's missing some eyes. So let's add in this material eye, and let's have a look. Now these eyes are pretty much identical in the way they function to the basic eyes. So if we go to solid view mode and we enable our overlays, you can see we have the exact same rig setup that we have for our basic eyes. The only real difference here is that these eyes have a material. And as you can see, it also has a lens which covers the pupil and the iris. So let's go back to material preview and let's have a look at the iris and the pupil. As you can see, we can scale these up, we can adjust the size just like what we were doing before with the basic eyes. Now the big difference here, of course, are the materials. And we have two sets of materials. We have an iris and an eyeball material. Now before we have a look at these materials, let's first set up our eyes within our character. So again, let's have a look at how to set this up. We're going to get our parents here. We're going to line these up to the middle of the eye sockets. We're going to use the parents to mainly drive the position of these eyes here. Now in this case, the character is looking straight forward, so that makes this whole process a lot easier. So I just place it right over here. Let's also jump into material preview mode here. Let's just adjust the placement of the eyes just a bit more. Maybe scale it down just a tad. I think that's pretty much the eyes in their sockets. So maybe move the look target to a different area as well. So I think something like this will do, and just like that, we have set up our eyes. Now, it doesn't look right just yet. You might still feel that, well, Jim, this still looks quite dead inside. Her eyes don't really look like they're part of the face, just something screams off to me. Well, don't worry, we're gonna dial in all these settings here with the shader to really make these eyes feel part of our character. So let's first have a look at the iris shader. Right, so over here we have the shader for our iris. Now, if we look at our shader, you can see we have two color inputs. This is the primary and secondary color. Now, if we adjust the primary color, you can see it's the inside of our iris. Then we also have a secondary color, which is going to be the outside. So let's adjust these colors to give this character some brown eyes. So let's get some brown colors here. So now we have brown eyes for our character, but we can tweak more things. For example, if we go over here to the iris settings, we can adjust the density of the fibers within our iris. Now, aside from this, we can also adjust the streakiness of these fibers. We can make it look very cartoony, or we can make it look very realistic and cloudy. Now, we can also adjust some fake shadows to add some really cool effects to our iris. For example, we have the rim shadow, which adds a shadow on the edge or the rim of our iris. So if we increase this, it basically just makes the edges a bit darker. Now, it's a bit subtle to see with dark eyes, but with bright eyes, they do make them look deeper. Now, next up, we have this fake shadow, which is basically going to simulate a shadow being left by the upper eyelid and eyelashes on the iris. So if we increase this value, it will bring more of a shadow to the top side of our iris. Now, there's a cool little trick that we can use to make the eyes seem a bit deeper than they are, and they also help draw the viewer's eyes towards the eyes of our character. Now, aside from this shader trickery, we can also add a second layer of fibers by enabling the secondary layer. This just adds another layer of these fibers based on the secondary color, and this really helps to draw in the viewer's eyes even more towards the eyes of our character. Now, we can tweak all of these settings for the secondary layer. We can adjust the range on which this secondary layer sits. We can adjust the scale of the noise along this layer. And if we zoom in a bit, we can see here, we can also adjust the depth of this noise. So how much of this distortion is applied to this secondary layer. So again, we can tweak the scale and the depth of this noise for the secondary layer. Now, the secondary layer also has some of these dark spots, these crypts within the fibers. Now, we can adjust the density of these as well as the intensity of the effect. So it can either make it very obvious or very subtle. I almost forgot, we also have this emission setting. Here we can make our eyes glow. This is really cool for monsters and fantasy creatures. And what we can do here is adjust the influence of which part of the iris really glows, as well as the strength of the emission. Pretty straightforward settings, but for this character, I don't think it's really needed. Now, one last thing before we move on to the eyeball shader, we also have a seed value for these shaders. This basically allows us to swap between different versions of the exact same setting. And the cool thing is these seeds are different per eyeball. So if we look at the other eye here, you can see we don't have the exact same shape for our irises, but they do share the exact same settings. So if you have a certain setting, but you're not happy with the results, you can just try different seeds until you get the result that you're happy with. Right, so that's a quick overlook of the iris. Let's now have a look at the eyeball shader. Now, with the eyeball shader, once again, we have the first input being a color input. Here we can set the color for the eyeball. We can tweak this to whatever color we want, but in most cases, we're just gonna have it at kind of this basic, kind of fleshy white color. Now, aside from adjusting the color of the eyeball, we can also adjust the transition between the white of the eyeball and the lens. We can either make it a very harsh transition or more of a softer, organic transition. Now, this is really useful if you're trying to create realistic characters or stylized characters. Having this control over the transition really does make a difference. Now, you might notice a bit of grain. This is because we're rendering in the material preview, but if we go in cycles, the transition will be nice and smooth. Now, next up, we have one of my secret sauces, this fake shadow effect. Now, what this basically does is, again, simulate a fake shadow coming from the upper eyelashes and the upper eyelid. Now, this really tricks your brain into thinking that these eyes are part of the face. So if we increase the strength, look at the difference it makes right away. Just by adding a bit of this fake shadow, the eyes feel a lot more grounded and no longer stand out to us. Now, to kind of see what's happening here, let's hide the character model. Just look at these eyes. Now, if we look over here, you can see we're adding this fake shadow on top, basically in the shape of this eyelid. Now, we still have full control over this fake shadow. So if we go to our shader settings here, you can see we can adjust not just the intensity, but we can also adjust the height of the shadow, as well as the offset. So if our eyes are maybe of a different shape, we can adjust the shadow for our eyelids. And lastly, we can also make the shadow rounder in case we have a stylized character with more rounder eyelids. If we increase this roundness value, we make the shadow rounder. Now, the mapping of the fake shadow is not related to the rotation or orientation of our eyeball, meaning that we can adjust the way the character is looking, the direction, everything, and it won't change the shadow. Now, aside from the fake shadow, we can also adjust the redness of the eyes, either make it more irritated or reduce the amount of redness in the eyes. We also have procedural veins that we can also adjust the density and intensity for, so you have complete control over how many veins or how intense these veins are across the eyeball. Now lastly, we also have some normal settings to add some normal effects to our material, so add some bump along where the veins are, also some noise along the surface, but in general I don't really touch this as much, as from a distance we can't really tell. So unless you have close-ups, you don't really need the normals enabled, but we have full control over each of these separate layers. So the noise, the veins, we have complete control over all of these. And again, since the entire system is procedural, it's all dynamic and it can all be adjusted to your liking. Now it does add to a performance cost, so if you're looking from a distance, you might as well just leave it off, as you can't really tell the difference from far away. So if I unhide the character model, we zoom out, you can see we're not going to really notice any of these normal changes. So in that case, you can just leave it off. Now I've tried to make this system as flexible as possible. You can even create different color irises per eyeball. So we have brown eyes for this eye here, but we have kind of bluish silver eyes for this other eye. All we've done is basically create a new version of the material and just change the settings. Now you can have a huge wide variety of different eyeball effects with this shader setup. And we're not just limited to Eevee, because we've been rendering in Eevee so far, but we can also go into cycles and the eyes will render just fine in cycles, if not even better. Because if we zoom in over here, you can see the transition is nice and smooth, and the results are nice and sharp too. Now, aside from humans, we can also create creature eyes. And again, the entire setup is nice and flexible. We can adjust the shape of the pupil to fit a reptile shape or maybe an alien style creature. The setup is made quite flexible, so you can create a wide variety of different eyes. So these eyes are very flexible. We can create a huge variety of different effects with different colors for the eyeball, for the veins and redness, and of course the iris itself. And this is one of the benefits of having a procedural system instead of having a pre-textured mesh for our eyes. We can quickly make changes and adjust the overall kind of vibe our character generates by just changing values with these eyes and changing the way our eyes look. This can really help bring our sculpts and characters to the next level. And we can have really fun with this. We can create some really wacky designs and wacky variations for your characters to really make your creature or character stand out. Now, to kind of help you with this, we don't just have these basic setups, so the basic eye and the basic material. We also have a bunch of presets which will help you kind of get started with creating your own variant. Now we've got some simple options here for animals. We got some fantasy eyes that glow. We have some human variety, so different human eyes, even a zombie eye, and then some stylized options. So for example, if you're making a stylized character, you already have a good solid base to start off from, and then to kind of tweak further on to customize it for your needs. So it doesn't matter what kind of character you have, human, zombie, monster, you can just drag and drop a preset into your scene, and you can tweak from this to get the results that you want. So as you can see, these eyes are very versatile. You can even use them for speed sculpts like this to kind of give them a bit of a glow up, and that way you can kind of give a bit of a boost to your portfolio. So I hope this resource can be very useful for you, so do share your thoughts in the comments. So I hope this asset can be useful to you. I know it's kind of a different style video than what we normally do with tutorials, so let us know if this asset really does make a difference for your characters. Now do check out Humanic. This sponsor does help us to create free assets like this, so do check them out and see you in our next video.